Well, folks, it's not what you want to see. Coolant everywhere. Tracked it down, it's leaking from the bottom of the radiator, so.
Said you wanna get through the winter days, so I walked through the fire and took the pain. I don't wanna say it, all the things between us never change. But you walk away, it's all the same. If our love is sinks to water, I'll die within. See your pictures in my bedroom, can't lie with it. Did you know about you? Did you know about love? Look at what we get through. Look at what we have done. 'Cause babe, I don't wanna get down. And hey, I lost you and myself. Someday I'll get to you somehow. To say I don't wanna let you down. So baby, wait till I fall down and pray I hold you for myself. Someday I get to you somehow. To say I don't wanna let you down. Holding on to a dream to slip away. I see your smile and I'm half awake. 'Cause I hate to say it, that you already took my heart away. Still walk away, it's all the same. If our love is sinks to water, I'll die within. See your pictures in my bedroom, can't lie with it. Did you know about you? Did you know about love? Look at what we get through. Look at what we have done.
Sweetwater, Texas, middle of nowhere. Sitting at a TA, waiting for a radiator. I cannot complain about this truck. The radiator gave out on me yesterday, but I started thinking back to the work that I've had done on this truck. And besides regular maintenance, in the last year, I've spent zero. I've replaced the batteries, replaced a couple of tires, had an overhead done, oil change, but I did, when I first bought this truck, I had the DEF system replaced, but that's been over a year ago. So in the last 12 months, zero out of pocket for repairs. Man, you can't, for a truck that has over 700,000 miles on it, I cannot complain. Knock on wood, she's been good. I treat her right and she treats me right. But the week started out not too good. I didn't book anything for Monday, and so Monday morning I woke up and was scanning the load boards, and man, it just did not look good at all. I didn't see much of anything, and I called on a few and just didn't. People didn't want to come up on the rates, and so got to be about the middle of the day, and I said, you know what? Let me just start looking for tomorrow. Same thing. Didn't look good. So I cut it off and waited. Said, I'll wait till the morning and see what we can find. So Tuesday morning rolls around, and I started looking at about 7:30. Still didn't look good at all. And then I get a call from one of the agents I work with. As a matter of fact, I brought their trailer down from Kentucky to Louisiana the week before, and now they're removing it from Louisiana up to Oklahoma, and it was $4 a mile. So I jumped on it. It was about 130 miles over to get it. And so, hey, things are looking up. We're looking up. So I get that one delivered, and on the way, I was able to book another load from Oklahoma over to West Texas. And again, it was paying over $3 a mile. So what started out as a week that was looking pretty terrible quickly turned into what was looking like a good week. Dun dun dun. Then about 100 miles outside of Oklahoma City, my radiator alarm went off, coolant alarm, which, it's an old truck. Every once in a while I have to add a little bit of coolant to it. So I stopped, topped it off, but I knew immediately that we had some issues. If you can see coolant being, especially being slung around by the fan in there and, dripping in a couple of places, you have some issues. You better stop and get it fixed as fast as possible. It was odd that I didn't, inside the truck I didn't smell anything. That's usually the first thing, you can smell it. Lots of different things, but that coolant, it's got that sweet smell to it. But I didn't smell anything. And so topped it off and said I'm going to stop at the first place. And I got about 70 miles down the road and the alarm went off again. And so I looked up. I was doing like I normally do, traveling across country and not on any major highways, but fortunately I was only about 30-40 miles from this TA. So I got over here, and let me tell you guys, there's no hardly anything such thing as a mechanic anymore. When these guys, a lot of these guys go to school nowadays, whatever, diesel mechanic school, they don't teach them to be mechanics, they teach them to be technicians. If they can't plug a computer up to it and it tells them exactly what to do, they're lost. Now, I won't say that for all of them, but for most of them, it's just a job to them, and it's just a way to get their little paycheck at the end of the week. They don't really care what goes on during the week. And especially when you come to these truck stops and the dealerships, that there every once in a while you get a mechanic at a dealership, but for the most part, these places, you're dealing with technicians. There's a big difference, a big difference. Used to, and still, you go to these little mom and pop operations, you can pull up, the guy can listen to it and tell you what's going on, because they care about it. They care about their jobs. They don't have that computer to fall back on. But anyway, this guy comes out. I said, hey, I've got a leak in a radiator somewhere on the bottom. And basically what I wanted to do is tell me whether or not it's the radiator or any connections. And I wasn't going to get out here in this truck stop and crawl around on the ground. You guys know how nasty this asphalt is out here. But so he pressurized it up to about 30 pounds, and he waited a couple minutes. He goes, "Yeah, I think it's your radiator." I said, "Well, you haven't even looked. There's nothing even dripping yet." And there's, you know, the big hose at the bottom of your radiator. There was a lot of liquid, you know, around that spot. I don't know if it had blown in there or what, but I said, "Hey, you know, give it a couple minutes." And then all of a sudden, you know, it started dripping out. So the guy goes, "Yeah, I think it's your radiator." I said, "Well, I'm pretty sure it's my radiator because it's coolant. But what I want to know is if it's a connection or if it's the radiator itself, because there's a big difference." And finally the guy got the picture and crawled under there and looked around and said, "Yeah, it's coming from the corner," which, if you got leaking radiator, you know, it could be a connection lots of times, one of the hoses or something. But if it's coming from one of the corners where there's no connections, not good. So he said, "Hey, you want to fix it here?" And he immediately tried to talk me out of it. I guess they don't like doing heavy mechanical stuff here, which this isn't really that bad. If I was at home, this is something I could do at the house myself in about 3 or 4 hours. But I said, "Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna," I said, "the nearest dealership's probably over 100 miles away. I'm not gonna risk saving $200, you know, and risk paying a $1,200 tow bill. Just not gonna do it." So he said, "Hey, we can do it tomorrow, and we just need to order the radiator." Of course, they don't have it on hand. But so that's where we're sitting and waiting. So they've started. Had to disconnect the AC, suck up all the Freon. So it's going to take about 2 hours to remove the reservoir. Here we go.